Good evening and welcome to Knights Stadium. Round 8 of NPL Victoria kicks off with the original Melbourne derby. Melbourne Knights against South Melbourne. What a game, and two teams currently experiencing contrasting fortunes. The consequences of defeat tonight for South are huge, and the rewards for Melbourne Knights winning tonight are absolutely massive as well. My name is Teo Pellizzeri. Pleasure to have your company here at Knights Stadium. Joining me from the Croatian Herald is Josip Herzog. Josip, really looking forward to this one. Before we go through the teams, your impressions on a warm and well-attended night here.
Yeah, Teo, once again, thank you for having me. Always exciting, and they don't get much bigger than this. It is the original Melbourne derby. It is 3rd versus 11th, and it is set to be a cracking contest.
Certainly is, and before I get your predictions, let's go through the teams. We're seeing the two captains meeting in the centre, Brad Norton of South Melbourne and Marian Svitkovic of Melbourne Knights. South Melbourne, the away team, Melbourne Knights with Hari Chakarun in goal. 5, Aidan Bryce. 7, John Albano. 9, Hamish Watson. 10, Marian Svitkovic. 11, Nikola Jurkovic. 12, Corey Sewell. 13, Ivan Grgic. 17, Daniel Vijovic. 19, Anthony Drizel. And 27, Joey Franjic. It means into the team comes Vizovic. Out goes Uskok, who is suspended, Tomislav Uskok, after his red card last week. South Melbourne, Nikola Roganovic, their goalkeeper. And then Luke Adams is number 4, Jake Marshall 5, 8 Dean Bereveskos, 10 Marcus Schroen, 11 Brad Norton, 12 Nick Krusaratis, 15 Ben Jiba, 17 Ethan Gage, 18 Konstantinos Stratomitros, 45 Jerry Salados. Bereveskos and Jiba are the ins. Giuseppe Marifiotti drops out of the squad altogether, and Perry Lambropoulos goes to the bench. Tonight's referee is Laz Pantelidis, assistants Jordan English and Janelle Samet, and the fourth official is Daniel Porter. Josip, as we get ready to kick off, who's going to win and why?
Oh, look, I believe the Melbourne Knights are going to win this one, and I'm saying it's going to be a 3-1. South have had trouble scoring goals. That's evident. And I feel like the Knights are going to have their number here, especially with the massive crowd that we have in front of us.
So we're underway, and the clearance for South Melbourne, who are attacking to the right of your screens. Melbourne Knights in their home red kits, attacking to the left of your screens. Big online audience building already for the original Melbourne derby. Leave us a comment, let us know where you're watching from. Tag your mates. Share the post, let everyone know that you're watching NPL Victoria. It is one of 3 games in seniors that we're streaming tonight, and there are also 2 under-20 games as well, so you are spoilt for choice. The other games start in the seniors at 8:30 tonight. So we see Marcus Schroen here squaring the ball for Stratomitros, and now Jerry Salados, unmissable in the bandana, and he's going to let fly and put it wide left with the first shot in anger coming barely a minute into the action. So the benches for both teams, Melbourne Knights, Jordan Gifkins, their second goalkeeper, Tom Poteridis, AJ Inia, Adrian Tardio, and Attila Offley. So a couple of the promising youngsters, Inia and Tardio, waiting in the wings for Mickey Cholina, the Knights coach. And for South Melbourne, Amir Jashari, their backup keeper, Perry Lambropoulos, Christian Constantinides, Giordano Marifiotti, fresh off a hat-trick in the under-20s against Green Gully, the brother of Giuseppe Marifiotti, who has been omitted from the squad, and Lee Monopoulos. So an attacking mix for South Melbourne there with Marifiotti and Monopoulos, and a couple of defenders in Lambropoulos and Konstantinides. And of course the absence of Tomislav Uskok is going to be so important for Melbourne Knights. Josip, after he got himself 2 yellow cards in quick succession against Avondale and got sent off for the second year in a row at Avenger Park last weekend.
Yeah, look, it was unfortunate for the Knights, especially they would love to have that midfield presence like Uskok delivers on a week in, week out basis. But yeah, you could argue that they were soft fouls, soft yellows. But once you get a yellow card, you've got to change the way you play the game. You can't just be rushing into challenges, especially in the middle of the park where maybe they're not as important. So it was unfortunate for the Knights, for Uskok to be missing for this game. Just wonder if that presence, which it looks like Daniel Vizovic comes in to replace. I wonder how they're going to fit in, how he's going to fit in, especially with Joey Franjic playing more of a defensive role. But it will be very interesting, and I feel like Woolscock is disappointed that he's watching this one from the sidelines.
Certainly would be, especially against a South Melbourne midfield of Ethan Gage, the Canadian, and Konstantinos Stratomitros, the Greek import, via Oakley, who have perhaps been part of the issues for South Melbourne, who, of course, are managed tonight for the first time by Esteban Quintas, the Argentine-born, Spanish-educated coach who has coached in the NPL before. One game and one game only for Bendigo City back in 2016. He was the assistant to Con Tangalakis, who the club announced the resignation of during the week. So unfortunately for Tanga, even though he helped save the club from relegation last year, he's not here anymore, as we see Watson creating a few issues at the centre of defence, and Marshall is able to clear under that duress and find the safety of the touchline. Here's Corey Sewell to take the throw, and he goes back to the centre of defence and Ivan Gurgic. Adam is watching in Japan. Adam, thank you for joining us. We've also got Adam Varallo from the AIS in Italy on his Friday afternoon, enjoying Friday night NPL as he always does. Great to have you along, Adam. Chris says, watching from home with a scotch in hand after a 15-hour working day got the better of me. Of course, Chris Gleeson, one of our commentators who will be hitting the airwaves for you elsewhere this weekend. Giveaway here. Salados charged in on Franjic but couldn't win the ball. And now Jokovic, well, he can't find a teammate with that pass, and out it goes. James says, sorry guys, but the referee last week was giving cards to Knights players like Oprah gives out gifts at her shows. Well, it was much talked about, Josip, because it was 6 yellow cards from 10 tackles. As we see a long ball here, which Aidan Bryce is going to keep away from Marcus Schroen, and Con Deves, the Neos Cosmos photographer, turns out of the way of the ball and then gets his first touch. I have to say, though, Josip, I think the two softest yellows of the 5 that were shown in the first half went to Woolscock, but I also think Knights got good value for the other 3 yellows they got in that first half, and a couple of the challenges were a little even orangey for me, so I know the Knights fans were very partisan and unhappy about the refereeing, but I could kind of see the sense in Lockie Keevers having to reach for his pocket on quite a few occasions.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess if you follow football on a regular basis, you'll tend to see a bit of a...
Salados, and he was falling off balance as the cross is intercepted and cleared by Gurgic.
Yeah, as I was saying, you'll tend to see, let's say 4 to 7 yellow cards given in a game on a regular basis. So, I mean, Knights having 5 yellows, well, one of them counted as a red, but 5 yellows given out in the first half. I mean, it's not a good sign, especially when you're up against Avondale, the form team, the pace setters of this year's NPL. You could argue that they were soft, but at the end of the day, like I was saying before, you just got to change it up. If you see that you've already conceded, 2-3 yellows in the first 15-20 minutes, maybe you've got to lay off a bit. If you see that maybe the ref isn't on your side, I mean, you got to maybe not ask for it in a sense, if you get what I'm trying to say. Here
is Marijan Cvitkovic, early ball, and Ben Jiba with a header safely back to Nikola Roganovic. South having played Al Bray for the 2-0 defeat against Pascoe Vale. Now they're back with Roganovic between the sticks, and this is Jiba. Schroen turning away from Franjic, but straight towards Cvitkovic, and possession is given away. Franjic diagonal ball. Norton being challenged by Jean Albano, who scored at Knights' goal in that 2-1 defeat last weekend. And he leaves the ball.
Yeah, it was a great goal from Albano last weekend, but it was a bit unfortunate that they conceded that penalty straight away. Right after it, I believe it was 2 minutes after. And that just set them on the back foot again once they had worked so hard to get an equaliser. Especially when you're playing away against the league leaders. But it wasn't to be, and Avondale are still perfect from the first 7.
So, restart here for Roganovic down in the corner. Keep the comments coming, we'll read out the best ones. Tony says there's no sound. Tony, I can guarantee you there's sound because I'm listening back to the Facebook feed myself. Of course, you can get it on YouTube as well. Enjoy the best of both worlds. If you want it maybe up on your smart TV, get it open in the YouTube app, and if you want to leave us a comment, get it open on Facebook. And of course, you've got the 10-second rewind, which is a fantastic way to watch the action back if there's something you want to see for yourself. You want to be your own ref or your own replay director as the ball goes out here on the left, and that is Janelle Samet waving the flag. Rising star of the refereeing ranks. I mean, you don't get Knights versus South by accident. Great to see Janelle getting the call here. Hopefully I don't put the moz on her, Josip, with any tight offside calls that come during the game.
Yeah, it is great to see. You know, she's young as well. I believe she's 21 years old. So to have her officiating in such a high-class, important game, like you said, must mean that she has been doing something right. So it's great to see, and like you said, let's hope
we're not talking about it at the end of the night. Yeah,
we don't get the commentator's curse.
Knights happy to own possession at the moment. South Melbourne with a front three of a long ball here that is given away. Bereveskos playing on the left side, Cruceratis in the middle, and Marcus Schroen over on the right, and then sitting in behind them. To the best of my knowledge here, I'm not sure South Melbourne have even got a number 10. Josip, I'll get your tactical observations on both teams when you're ready. Just right now the game is still really trying to set a tempo. Ooh, high boots. And a free kick was inevitable there as Stratomitros was lunging up towards Anthony Duzel. Free kick taken quickly by Vizovic. He's going to forward to Duzel in a potentially dangerous area here. If he can shrug all the South Melbourne attention, then he lost his footing and got the ball back anyway. A good recovery, and Corey Sewell comes forward to support the attack. And Sewell with a whipped cross, and Svitkovic's header goes high over the bar. He had to stoop into the ball, and in trying to elevate the header, sent it out for a goal kick. Alex in the comments, as we've got Svitkovic down here needing treatment, so may have got a little bit of contact. Alex says, bring Teo to New South Wales. It's funny you mentioned that because Rafe Griffin from Football Queensland is actually coming down here on exchange, commentary in exchange, Josip, in a month's time. And he's going to be here at Knight Stadium in a month. He's going to come down from Queensland and he's going to do 3 games and then head back up to NPL Queensland. So you might be here commentating with him, mate, in a month's time.
Well, that'd be great. I mean, if we can maybe even get a few of us Victorians
up to Queensland
on the other side.
Well, this is all part of building towards a national second division, I reckon, Josip. You've got the streaming going in New South Wales, ACT, Northern New South Wales, Queensland, WA, South Australia.
I saw an interesting Twitter post over the weekend. South Australia want to get one as well. They want to get. There's a few fans looking around the country and saying, "Why do the others have it and why don't we?" Yeah,
and I think fair enough. I mean, NPL's proving to be a bit of a revolution and a revelation at the moment, as we see Svitkovic walked to the sidelines here. It looks as though there's a head injury that's being treated, and the referee Laz Pantelidis is very closely tending to this issue. Daniel says Aiden Bryce is going to smash it tonight. Now, it's pretty hard for a centre-back to win the gold medal, but gee, Aiden Bryce has been good this season, hasn't he?
Oh, it's just that presence, you know what I mean? When he plays, he's not afraid to go in. He's always up winning headers, and his headers are pretty accurate as well. They don't go into the opposition feet. And when it comes to last-ditch tackles and saves, he's just been clinical. He hasn't been given the opposition much to work with, and if he can continue, I mean, we're only 7 games in, this being round 8, but if he can continue, I say why not?
Made a good run here, Salados. The keeper's out. Was there contact? There was. And fortunately for Knights, it's come just outside the penalty area. South Melbourne with a free kick right on the edge of the box. And Jerry Salados with that clever nod on. The keeper was out. And it's not a penalty because it was just to the left of the penalty area. So a free kick in a dangerous position and a chance for South Melbourne.
Yeah, well, it just shows you Bradley Norton, the left-back, he's leading by example. That was a great ball over the top, looking for young Salados. And he's managed to skip past the Knights' defence and get what seems to be a very close free kick right on the edge of the box. It'll be interesting if this one goes direct or...
Acute angle, 2 in the wall, and Corey Sewell is able to knock it away with his knee.
It was a good delivery. I mean, it's come into the dangerous area.
Beravescos nodded down and cleared by Gigic.
Came into the danger area, but there just wasn't anybody there to pounce onto it, and Sewell was able to get rid of it.
Ball out for a throw right in front of the Knights. In fact, right in front of the South bench. That is Esteban Quintas, the new interim South manager. There's been a few rumours around. Damien Murray was the big go during the week. I'm going to be in Adelaide on Sunday. I may as well just ask him. He'll be there doing ABC radio. I'll say, Damien, are the rumours true? Are you coming back to Victoria to coach South Melbourne? That would be quite the coup if they could bring him over. I guess the question is, would you want to, given South have sifted through managers fairly quickly since the departure of Chris Taylor. I think this is their fourth coach since CT's departure. And shouts for a foul here on Salados. Go unheeded. It'll be Knights ball throw in with Jurkovic. He goes to Watson here, the New Zealander. Volleyed on by Franjic to no one in particular. Jiba leading the race back and safely into the hands of his keeper.
Yeah, good work there by Jiba, just making sure that Gian Albano, who we know has very quick legs, doesn't get the better of him.
Poor touch by Cruceratis. Gives it away to Gian Albano. And he sends it laterally. Giselle was trying to feed it back to Albano. Adams is there. High ball, and almost in the same spot where Chakarun had fouled Salados a moment ago. There is nothing to worry about this time.
Yeah, it was important for Adams to intercept that pass. Had Albano gone through there, it may have been one-on-one with Roganovic.
So we're 15 minutes in, and the game has now settled, but neither team is on top. It's certainly not breakneck speed. There's maybe just a slow simmer to this one. We haven't really had any fire and spice of a true derby just yet.
Well, it's good to see Marian Cvitkovic back on the field. He does have his head wrapped, the Melbourne Knights skipper, slotting back into that attacking midfield position.
Cruceratis with the header straight to Bryce. Albano. Jurkovic. Franjic. Hear the singing Knights fans below us. We've got the barbecue and the bar open at the ground level of the TV tower tonight, so fans on both sides of the ground. Here is Stratomitros in a 1-on-2, so he defers back to Schroen. Wants that trusty left foot, and he's able to lose the attention of Giselle. Schroen. Stratomitros straight to Sewell. And then Vizovic was trying to slow him down. Got left with the ball. Now Vizovic. Slight fortune in the deflection, but Giselle is able to capitalise to Aiden Bryce. And now Albano moving between the lines, commanding the ball and distributing out to the left. It's a promising run. Vizovic cuts it back for Albano. And then, well, across without any real direction, just off the midriff of Cvitkovic, and he wasn't able to control the pass like that.
Yeah, well, you had Watson and Jurkovic waiting in the box there, and I feel like the ball sort of come quickly towards Cvitkovic, and he couldn't get his feet sorted, and unfortunately for the home side, it's gone out for a South Melbourne goal kick.
Audience continues to grow. We're almost up to 200 concurrents. Of course, the audiences for NPL Victoria have been sensational, particularly on Monday nights. YouTube and Facebook combined audiences have been really good. We actually had more than 3,000 people on YouTube for the women's NPL game between Bulleen and Alamein on Monday. So you imagine that tonight we're going to be well in excess of 5,000 or 6,000, maybe even more, as Franjic wins the ball here. And he's left his opponent rather sore. Getting back up quite gingerly was Ethan Gage, but he is able to rise to his feet, and the former Canadian Youth International has a word to Laz Pantelidis, the referee, but no sympathy forthcoming.
I feel like it's been a very positive start from Joseph Franjic, who's playing as a defensive midfielder, because it seems like the Knights have a diamond in the middle. with Franic playing the defensive mid, Juzel and Visevic playing the central mid, pushing out wide on occasion as well, and then Cvitkovic playing the number 10 role. But Franic has been doing well, dropping in for that spot that's missing due to Tomislav Uskok's suspension. They love playing together, but it's up to Franic tonight to lead from that defensive midfielder spot, and it's been positive from him so far.
Mid-range free kick then. Drifted into the box and over the head of Marshall, who now has to go and turn against his opponent here. Was able to keep it in initially, but Bryce, just in the tangle of legs, saw it over the line. South Melbourne throw. Jiba will come up to take it from the right side. South Melbourne not committing numbers forward at all. In fact, both central defenders have dropped back to the halfway line to guard against the counter. And it's a product of a bit of homework on Knights as Jiba, an ambitious cross, and Bryce judged it well to volley away. And you heard the contact there between the boots of Albano and Marshall, and the throw-in does go to the visiting team.
Just touching on what you said there, with the homework aspect of the league that is actually available to coaches now. With this broadcast deal, coaches can watch every single minute of every single team that they have to play against, so they can do as much homework as they want, and I believe that's a fantastic addition to the league because it just adds to the professionalism.
Well, I'll say this, Josip, I think it'll make the good coaches better. I don't know if it'll make the coaches that the ones who only want to focus on their own team and not put too much work into the opposition. I don't know if it's much help to them. But there are, as you know, some coaches who attend as many games as they can in person. George Katsakis being a classic case from Heidelberg that will pop up everywhere around Victorian football on any given weekend. So you can only imagine that streaming will have sent him into overdrive, being able to watch every possible minute of football from every game. And I guess it stands to reason that Heidelberg are one of the top teams.
Yeah, well, I guess, they say knowledge is power, so the more homework they do, the better it'll be.
Stratomitros overhits this pass out to the right. Schroen can't chase it down.
And with your point, adding to your point there, as you said, the coaches that maybe don't do their homework, they may be able to get more so caught out this season. But like I said, it's just adding to the professionalism of the league. Like I said, we're pushing for that second division.
Well, I was going to say, do you know how I know this? Because all through the W League season, Josef, I would see goals scored and situations defended where it was obvious that the coaches of certain teams didn't actually watch their opponents week in, week out, because the same scenarios were allowed to repeat week on week on week. I would hope, even though it's only a semi-professional competition, that the coaches are putting in the work here in the NPL.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. But all credit to the teams who can, and the coaches who can set up drills and set up, set-piece scenarios, and not only just practice them, but pull them off when they count.
So, corner kick for the Knights. Cvitkovic to take, and it's a tumbler in at the near post. Schroen's clearance not quite decisive, but that touch from Jiba does find almost the touchline. It does eventually tail its way out. Knights throw. Esteban Quintas, full of energy in the South Technical area, continuing to encourage his troops. Shimmy of the body from Jean Albano, trying to lose the attentions of Jiba. Appeals to the assistant referee, but the ball stayed in. Albano cutting back now. A right-footed lift into the box. Not so much a cross as just a scoop. And it's cleared away by Adams, but Knights get another go. They can reset here through Marian Cvitkovic. Juzel back to Cvitkovic. Neat link-up play from Knights. Does it have an end product? Cvitkovic, he goes to ground, and the referee says it's a foul by Stratomitros in prime shooting territory right at the edge of the area.
Yeah, that was great work there by the veteran, who's already been on the sidelines. He's got his head wrapped, which means we may or may not have blood before. And that just shows how much the Knights want it this season. They've been playing unbelievably well together as a team. They've been gelling under the guidance of Miki Cholina. And it's going to be interesting to see whether Anthony Juzel or Hamish Watson get the nod here.
So South have set their wall. Nikola Roganovic waits on the line. Juzel straight into the wall. He did not get much elevation on the free kick. And now as the wall breaks out to chase him it's another free kick. Cruceratus conceding a little bit further out. So this one won't be a direct shot on the target, but it was an underwhelming free kick. No real power, and the wall was able to block that one away rather convincingly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even if he had, with that amount of power, gotten it over the wall, I feel like that would have bounced about 3 times before he got to Draganovic. Not the best decision, but they get a second chance here.
And plenty of aerial targets to aim for. Svitkovic over this delivery. High ball, and it misses all the red shirts. First touch was by Gage. Sewell now against Ethan Gage, and he's able to win possession. Vizovic is going to slow things down and go back to Aidan Bryce, who didn't get forward for that particular free kick. Even though he does have the tall frame, they sent Gergic, the other central defender, instead. Corey Sewell. Vizovic with a quick look around to assess his surroundings, and front edge goes back to Ivan Gergic again.
The one thing I've noticed with the Knights, they're very, very clinical in their rotations. I mean, you have a look at the setup and the formation that they start with, and at times you have a look at how they're set up on the field during the play, and you're just seeing so many players out of positions, but you have a look and the formation still looks the same, but just all different players out of positions. I mean, we just saw there, Daniel Vizovic was in the left-back position while Corey Sewell was at left wing, and then you had Svitkovic out on the right wing, and you had Josef Franjic in attacking mid. So all of their rotations, especially with the midfield and the wing, it works a treat for them, and especially if they can keep up communication, maybe even see that result into a goal for the hosts.
Well, there is a lot of trust in the team right now, safe to say, for Melbourne Knights. 5 wins, 2 losses. 2 losses coming against the 2 grand finalists from last season, so it has been a winning team for the most part. South Melbourne, by contrast, as we've mentioned, the change of manager a few times, but it was actually coming off a draw last week in a game where South Melbourne's fans felt as though they could have potentially beaten Green Gully, making the change after a draw rather than a defeat. Hoping for the new manager bounce right here in the derby. Norton, roundhouse kick to send it high. Bryce with the header. And a challenge in midfield. Gage stood his ground. Salados is covered by Jurkovic here. South fans shout for a foul, and eventually a decision does come, but not for the contact on Salados.
Well, a win here for South Melbourne would put them up onto 10 points. 10 points out of 8 matches isn't really a South Melbourne form that we've known to expect, but especially after just missing out on relegation last season, they would be looking to get a bit of a grip on the league.
Schroen firing, and that is good hands from Chakarun. Saw it all the way and then held on firmly between the eyes. It was a rising shot from Schroen, who does have such a great eye for goal.
Yeah, as I was saying, just for them to maybe accumulate a few points earlier in the season, so it doesn't actually get to that point where you're struggling for points and battling in that frowned upon relegation battle that we tend to see every year, which is great for the league.
And at 8:30 tonight, the game between Dandenong City and Oakley Cannons will be key to that, because it's the bottom 2 teams against each other. And of course, third bottom are also in action tonight as Kingston City go away to Heidelberg United, which will be a big challenge for Nick Tolios and his team. Those 2 games kick off in 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, Dandenong City are last. They have 3 points. Oakley Cannons.
Albano, the cross, and Jiba nods into a header. Vizovic, and a bit too much power on it.
Yeah, as I was saying, Dandenong City last on 3 points. Oakley Cannons second last on 4 points. And then Kingston City 12th with 5 points. So just goes to show, within the 2 points, anything can happen tonight. If the results go Dandenong City's way, they could find themselves from 14th to 12th.
We've got a few questions in the comments, Josip, asking about the crowd estimate. What do you reckon? 1,500? Almost 2,000?
Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, what the camera can't see is the amount of people that are to the left, especially of the camera tower. Fantastic numbers. I haven't seen this many people on this side of the pitch in a very long time at Knights Stadium. So yeah, I believe we're close to the 2,000 mark, if not just past it.
Here is Marian Cvitkovic. I'm sure if you tweet at Pavel Yusuf, the Knights president, he might release a number before the night is out.
Maybe we'll get onto him at half-time.
Long diagonal ball here from Gergic. Duzel. Jurkovic has to commit, and he does. And that's the first real taste of a derby challenge, but Jerry Salados is clever. And then he goes and draws a rather obvious foul from Duzel, who has already been sent off once this year. So he's going to have to be on his best behaviour here. Jurkovic's challenge was legal, but then Duzel would not let Salados leave the scene after he survived Jurkovic's slide tackle attempt.
Yeah, well, Anthony Duzel, I mean, like you said, he's been sent off already this season. The penalty last week, that gave Avondale the 3 points, was on Anthony Duzel when he brought down Ahmed Yusuf in the penalty box. And now he's just going to have to, it's still early, 29th minute yellow card. It's just going to changes the complexion of the way he plays his game for the rest of the night.
Of course, his creativity and his passing is his biggest asset. So if he now has to ease up on a bit of the dirty work, it'll put that responsibility onto the other midfielders a bit more.
Well, like I was saying, the Knights are playing a 4 in the midfield, so you've still got Visevic, Franic and Cvitkovic there.
Speaking of the passing, it's a great ball from Duzel, and Roganovic showing great judgment to come out and lean into that header well out of his penalty box. And the game is just a little stretched and a few gaps opening up, so maybe the chance for either team to attack here. Franic, Albano, and there's not much juice on that pass, but it does find its way to Sul. Cruceratus was chasing but couldn't get there. And now Albano has got this game on a string and firing a shot which is punched away. Roganovic got his body behind it and went for the double fist in order to clear the attempt on goal.
Yeah, it was great work from Albano. Like we said, he's got quick feet. As he skipped past there, he's taken that shot and the spin on that shot, I mean, it had that sort of Ronaldo swerve to it, where it becomes tough for keepers to actually guess where it's going to go as it's swerving left and right as it's going towards them.
Flag stays down. Ben Jiba escaping through the right side. Is this a chance for South? Against the run, it's an up and under header from Bryce, and that allows Chakarun towering over Schroen to come out and collect. But, well, just as I suggested, the game was stretching. We have chances at both ends, Josip, and that's what we're hoping to see a bit more of. Less of the caginess and more of the attacking.
Yeah, well, I mean, the more chances, the more opportunity for goals. We've got South Melbourne, who have scored the least amount of goals this season. They've only scored 5 from the 8 games, while Melbourne Knights have managed to score 14, I believe. But the Knights have conceded 10, so it still does leave room for South to maybe kickstart their season like Port Melbourne did just 2 weeks ago at this same venue.
And, of course, it's a great point you raised. They've only scored 5 to this point of the year. This is game number 8, and Billy Konstantinidis is currently serving a decent suspension after he got red carded against Pascoe Vale a couple of weeks ago. I think he's still got 3 more games to run after tonight. So they're missing their big off-season number 9. But here's a good ball from Schroen, and through the right side is Cruceratus. Good save by Chakarun. Cruceratus tried to beat him at the near post, and the Knights players are saying that was offside. They may have a case, and it took a good save from Chakarun.
Yeah, Schroen had the ball there, and he's played it up over the top of, I believe it was Grgic there, and found Cruceratus running. Cruceratus always dangerous attacking one-on-one towards the goals, and as he's taken that shot, Harry Chakarun had his feet settled and was able to keep his balance and keep the danger.
Hard to tell looking back on the stream. Close call, and this corner will be whistled away. It's going to be retaken. Good save, good reaction from Chakarun. We
do trust in the eyes of Janelle Samet, though. We do. We were talking about her before. Yeah. Lineswoman.
So,
on this
assistant referee.
Assistant referee. My apologies there.
Here's Schroen's corner. Left foot take. Lots of traffic in the penalty area, and there is a header for South Melbourne. Adams. But it's batted down and then cleared away by Chakarun. Trying to swing the pendulum. And again, Jiba, who has proven himself to be quite a good judge of an aerial ball. Another effective header back to his goalkeeper just to diffuse the danger. And now Jiba, who is trying to provide some attacking outlet on this right side. Schroen against Sul, refusing to let him pass. Vizovic, Jiba, Krusaratis had that chance a moment ago. And then knew exactly where Ethan Gage was in the middle, and the pass just goes the wrong side of Aiden Bryce as far as Dean Bereveskos was concerned.
Yeah, there's a bit of work here for Daniel Vizovic and Corey Sul. I mean, they have to keep constant eyes on Jiba, Schroen and Krusaratis coming through in behind the defence. And the left side of Melbourne Knights' formation will have their work cut out for them, especially for the rest of this first half.
Svitkovic chasing. Still quite a chunk of that first half to go. We're in the 35th minute, and the score remains 0-0 here in the original Melbourne derby. Gage. South Melbourne getting a bit more confident, but Sul's header stops the progress here. And now with an up and under, which Marshall is going to head straight to Franjic, and it's a bit of kick to kick at the moment. Watson set himself, but Adams with a run-up is able to come over the top. A battle of fringe Kiwi internationals. Adams with a handful of caps. Watson has never made his senior national team debut, but I'm sure both would have dreams that if they have good NPL seasons, they're never too far away from a call-up for the All Whites. As we see here, this touch is an errant one that will run out for a throw. Keep the comments coming. We'll read out the best ones. People are asking each other what time they start work and so forth. So by all means, have a chat in the comments. It all drives the interaction up. I'm not going to complain. As here's Marshall clearing the ball through the right side. Schroen. It's all Knights at the fall. But then a good header from Stratomitros, and that will give Krusaratis a cause to go and chase. Cutting it in. 1-2 with Stratomitros, but he can't run it down, and it's out for a goal kick.
Krusaratis, a danger man that we've known in the NPL, especially plying his trade with Green Gully over the last few seasons. He's come to South Melbourne. He's only got the one goal this season, and he'll be looking to improve, especially in a game such as the Melbourne Derby.
Well, I consider him one of the unluckiest players in the NPL because he was trialling and doing a pre-season with Western Sydney 2 seasons ago. Tony Popovic goes to Turkey, and all of a sudden, everything dries up. Now, there's going to be a sub. Daniel Vizovic is going to be replaced here with just under 10 minutes until half-time. And coming on for Melbourne Knights is Attila Offley. So this is an interesting change. Offley, who's very much a striker. I wonder if they're going to play him a bit deeper here and try and use him in a midfield role. That seems to be the plan based on where he's gone to line up. This is a player who was scoring 40 in a season for Whittlesea a couple of winters ago, down in NPL 2, and played as a striker at Hume. But here he is in midfield for Knights, replacing Vizovic, and he might be involved straight away as he tries to sprint. And first to the ball is Raganovic by barely a step. But what do you make of that sub to take Vizovic out of the game?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's taken, like I was saying before, Vizovic and Sul had a fair amount of work to do there. But now you've got Gian Albano and Attila Offley playing on that same side, and I can't even tell who's quicker of the two, but it's going to be... It seems like Mickey Challoner has chosen to add a bit more pressure onto Ben Jiba, the outstanding right-back for South Melbourne. And it'll be interesting to see how much damage the pairing of Offley and Albano can cause on this left wing.
Got news of a goal in the A-League. Melbourne City 1, Brisbane Raw 0. Speaking of A-League, great to have Melbourne Victory legend and Green Gully legend Roddy Vargas watching in on the live stream. Shout out to Roddy. Hello to almost 200 on Facebook who are watching, and thousands more on YouTube as well. As we see Krusaratis here at the byline, and that catches the wind and goes out for a goal kick. Roston Griffiths has scored the goal. That is a collector's item in the A-League. Keep you posted on the 8:30 kickoffs in the NPL as well. Those start in less than 5 minutes now. Of course, you can watch them all on YouTube and Facebook. You can bounce between them. That's what I was doing last Friday. I had 4 games open at once, Josip. I'd rostered myself off. I had enough enthusiastic commentators that I could just enjoy the action like everyone else at home.
Well, I feel like you deserve it. You don't get to rest very often, do you, Tao?
Well, certainly not. And got to say there was some great commentary as well last Friday. Marcus Copsey, the Dandy Derby in particular. So we see Marshall here get across and clear the ball away. What a remarkable game that was. Dandy City 3-0 up, only to lose 4-3.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what a derby it was. They don't come around often, those big results, but props to Dandenong Thunder. I mean, to be down 3-0 and to score 4, especially away from home.
Awkward here for Roganovic, and he rises almost Specky style above Jake Marshall and clings onto the ball. Every chance that when he hit the ground there, it could have jarred out, so he's done well to cling on. Salados has been quiet ever since that challenge from which the yellow card was shown, in fact. He's barely been involved in the game, and he's muscled off the ball here. Offley. That is a clever pass from Attila Offley, and batted away. Can Watson capitalise? It's off the line. Marshall got down to the ball. And now Gage shouts for handball, and Laz Pandalidis makes sure the crowd knows as he waves his arms to say no penalty. And now a foul and a card, and Nikola Jurkovic is booked for snapping at the heels of Jerry Salados. End-to-end drama, and it seems as though we just have long periods of ebb and then it flows, this game, and that was so close for Knights and for Watson.
Yeah, Jake Marshall there. I mean, he's come out as the hero as Watson snapped at that volley, as it's come out to him just on the inside of the box there. Jake Marshall, he was under pressure there, I believe, by Attila Offley, but he's managed to stick a foot in and save the goal, especially with Roganovic out of his position due to the initial save from Cvitkovic's effort. But I hope we see more of that.
And now a card on the bench for Mickey Cholina as well. Of course, coaches now can get cards too. So that's Drizel and Jurkovic in the book for Knights, along with the gaffer, Mickey Cholina. And here is Schroen escaping Sewell, but he was on his wrong side. That right-footed cross left a bit to be desired. Schroen and Jeeba. South Melbourne trying to counter-punch after Knights came so close to scoring a moment ago. And that is sharply defended by Grgic, and Schroen then with a rather blatant foul on Cvitkovic to give away a free kick. So Knights with a restart. I don't want this first half to end. It feels like we're working towards a goal, and half-time might arrive a little bit too soon now that we're into the last 5 minutes, Josip.
Yeah, I feel like it's just starting to get to that derby aspect, you know, the one that we always hope for, especially with these two teams. Salados is on the floor there. So
both of Knights' yellow cards for players have come from fouls on Salados. Maybe not necessarily a coincidence. I'm sure South Melbourne will be arguing for better protection of their young playmaker. The trainer will not be called here for Jerry Salados. Of course, he wears the bandana due to alopecia. Another player who's been so close to getting an A-League contract. He was trialling with Newcastle in the off-season. Left Northcote to go to South Melbourne after Northcote were relegated, unfortunately for them. Throw in on the right side. The wind has really picked up, and it is favouring the end that South Melbourne are attacking in this first half. We can even feel it gusting through the commentary box here in the TV tower. Franjic, Albano.
I guess with the pace of Albano and Offley, that wind will favour the Knights in the second half, especially as they will be attacking with it. They love to play the balls through.
Both South players getting each other's way here. Jiba eventually onto the ball, but then coughing it up. Corey Sewell just kept a presence. Go for a long throw. A short throw it is. And Watson, goal kick. He's trying to sell the referee on a corner, and Las Pandelitas wasn't buying. Vocal crowd, lots of singing, lots of noise. The Mark Viduka Lounge is well stocked, I imagine. And I've already had one shove up here tonight, Josip, but I reckon they'd be going down well in the Viduka Lounge at the moment.
Yeah, they always do.
It's a great vantage point to watch from, by the way. Best seats in the house up there. Maybe second only to ours here in the media tower.
Yeah, I don't think they're facing as much wind as we are, with it all being closed up in there. But
here is Schroen trying to turn away from Gurgic, and no foul, just a legal tangle as it's cleared long by Sewell. Albano showing his speed, Norton guarding him. The wind has swung around. If you look at the flag, it's now favouring the end. Knights are attacking. As it's blustery here at Knights Stadium at the end of the first half, and you can see South's disappointment at conceding a corner kick here late, because this could be a big moment in the game if Knights can score right on the stroke of half-time.
Yeah, it'll be an Anthony Giselle delivery with his favoured right boot, which means it's going to be an outswinger. You go Jurkovic, Sewell, Watson, Gurgic.
Here comes the corner then. Sewell's the target over his head, and he goes back in. Not the prettiest attempt to win the ball. Eventually Jiba gets conclusive contact. Attila Offley back to Giselle, stuck in a 1-on-2 though, and bombs away just to clear the lines in the end. It's going to run down to the byline. That was energetic stuff from Beravescos, but with no real plan. So Knights have possession back. Fourth official reaching for the board.
Yeah, I did see Chakarun off his line there, so I wasn't sure whether Beravescos was trying to pull off a Liam Bolland. As we know, he loves to try and test out our NPL goalkeepers from the halfway line. And,
Offley in a little pocket of space, but now it's been closed down. Sewell is able to execute the pass quite well. Offley flicking it on, and then a desperate scramble at the feet of Norton. His first touch was able to just stop the ball at his own feet rather than spill it to an opponent. And now down in the corner. Beravescos escapes. Chrysoratis is a lone hand for South. Now he gets support in the form of Schroen. Back to Gage. Stratomitros to Jerry Salados. Giselle has to ease off because he's on a yellow. So's Jurkovic. And they do it cleanly, out for a throw. Kick-off in the 8:30 games. Dandenong City against Oakley Cannons. You can enjoy that during the halftime break. And then keep both windows open when you rejoin us here at Knights Stadium. And of course, Heidelberg versus Kingston, the other senior NPL game tonight. You can join Brandon Galgano and Matt Sultana over at Olympic Village, or Michael Thompson and Demir Kulash at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex.
Shouts there for a South Melbourne ball that didn't come, as it's with the Knights.
Sewell getting forward, off the chest. Albano against Jiba. Perhaps the two best players for their respective teams in this first half, as it goes out for a corner.
Yeah, it's been positive, especially from Ben Jiba. I mean, he's been in that right back position. And I mean, his execution has been fantastic, except for maybe about 6-7 minutes ago when he was forced to push the ball out for a Knights throw-in. But it's been an exceptional first half from the fullback, and this might be the Knights' last opportunity of the first half.
What will the final word be in this first 45? Gurgic's header, and then flicked up. Svitkovic has a clean run at the ball. And then he sends that into the night sky. Will it hold up so that Gurgic can play it again? Put it down as a completed pass. And it's a teasing cross back in. And the header is off the crossbar. nearly for Nikola Jurkovic. And he's denied by the woodwork and maybe just the fingertips of Draganovic as well, because it's another corner.
Yeah, that was a great leap there by Jurkovic. I think it was Draganovic that actually got to that ball. I feel like that was dipping right into the top corner.
Looking at it again, I think there's no woodwork. I think that's all goalkeeper.
Yeah, that was a fantastic there from Nikola Draganovic as the Knights line up another corner kick. We're just over 3 minutes into stoppage time of this first half, and this might be the last one here.
Big goal line stand for South Melbourne then. Svitkovic's corner and sliding across the face. Ivan Gurgic tried to steer it goalwards, and what an end to the first half. I don't think the fans want the action to end, because we have been entertained. There may not have been a goal, but it has been a very promising first 45. It is Melbourne Knights 0, South Melbourne 0. Josip Herzog have the final say on the first half.
Yeah, it's been pretty cautious from both teams in the first half, with the last maybe 10 minutes of the first half adding a bit more excitement. Just wrapping up, we've got Nikola Jurkovic and Anthony Giselle with yellow cards for the Knights, and South Melbourne uncautioned. For now, we look forward to the second half.
You'll have the countdown clock on your screens. Enjoy the 8:30 kickoffs during your halftime break, and then rejoin us here for the second half, where it is currently 0-0. We'll be with you again soon. Welcome back to live pictures from Knights Stadium. We're at halftime in the original Melbourne derby. It is Melbourne Knights 0, South Melbourne 0. South Melbourne to kick off the second half then. They'll be attacking the left of your screens. Melbourne Knights had the best chances to score in that first half, and the man about to kick off, Nick Chrysaratis, had South Melbourne's best opportunity, which was well saved by Harry Chakarun. Witzel gets us back underway then. Who will score first? Who will break through in the derby? That's the question as we get back underway. Teo Pellizzeri, my name, Josip Herzog here with me, and of course we did have that one sub in the first half with Daniel Vizovic taken off, and Knights bringing on Attila Offley. South Melbourne have the same 11 unchanged that started the match. Which way do you see the game going in the second 45?
Yeah, look, towards the last 10 or so minutes of the first half, it seemed to be swinging into that more derby mode with a few chances going each way. But I feel like Melbourne Knights have had the better opportunities so far, and I feel like they might pinch this one, the Knights. But South fans might disagree with me. But I feel like we are in for a fantastic second half.
As we see Jurkovic win the header here. Franjic. With a loose touch, Chrysaratis, and now Bereveskos. He's got two options. Salados is one of them, and it's Jerry Salados. All running out of space, and what looked like a promising half chance dissipated very quickly.
Yeah, he ran it all the way out. And to the Knights fans, they would ask him to do that a couple more times in the second half. As Harry Chakarun gets ready to bring the ball back into play.
Around the grounds, Dandenong City and Oakley Cannons has kicked off. That game is 0-0 down at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. And Sean Ellis's early goal has Heidelberg leading 1-0 against Kingston City. So Kingston currently threatened by relegation in that bottom three. Of course, the bottom four teams all in action at the moment. Here's Benjiba. And it's going to be a Knights throw, left side of defence. Adams plays it to Jake Marshall. Long ball, and none of the South attackers are breaking. Chakarun, his confidence up at the moment. After a strong first half, you think of the save from Schroen as well, the one right between the eyes. So he did have some stops to make. Here's a long ball from Bryce, and he throws his head back in frustration as it bounces down to Reganovic. So the Knights team, Chakarun in goals, centre-backs Bryce right side, Ivan Gurgic left side, left back is Corey Sewell, right back Nikola Jurkovic, holding midfielder Joey Franjic, in front of him Anthony Giselle and Marian Svitkovic. Left side of attack, Attila Offley. Right side of attack, Jean Albano, and Hamish Watson is the number 9. South Melbourne team, Nikola Reganovic in goal. Right-sided centre-back, Jake Marshall. Left side, Luke Adams. Left back, Brad Norton. Right back, Benjiba. And then in central midfield, Ethan Gage and Konstantinos Stratomitros. In front of them, Dean Bereveskos. And the front three, Nick Chrysaratis in the middle, Marcus Schroen on the right, and Jerry Salados on the left. On the benches for the two teams, Knights have still got Jordan Gifkins, Tom Potteridis, AJ Inia and Adrian Tardio, having already subbed off Vizovic for Offley. And South Melbourne have Amir Jashari, Perry Lambropoulos, Christian Constantinidis, Giordano Marafiotti and Lee Monopoulos. And yellow cards in that first half for Nikola Jurkovic. And refresh my memory, Josip?
Anthony Giselle.
Anthony Giselle, thank you.
So it was a 29th minute yellow card for Anthony Giselle and a 40th minute yellow for Nikola Jurkovic, alongside head coach Mickey Cholina, who received a yellow card in the 41st minute also.
Correct. It is indeed correct. He got booked as he was protesting the Jurkovic yellow card. Lex is watching from Kenya. Hello, Lex. Keep the comments coming. Make sure you tag your friends. Let's get this live audience back up. Of course, we're sharing with a couple of other games now around NPL Victoria, so good crowds at the grounds, good online audiences tuning into the streams. It's what we like to see, and of course, It continues tomorrow. I might get your tips for the rest of the weekend, Josip, actually, with the game in a little bit of a gentle pattern at the moment to start the second half. As we see a long ball here onto the head of Jurkovic and Krusaratis to Salados. Too much on that pass into the box, though. 3 p.m. tomorrow, Green Gully against Pascoe. Steve Curtin and Katie Lambeski will be your call team at Green Gully Reserve. Josip, who do you like in that one?
Well, that's one of the ones that we were talking about from the mid-table, both teams sitting on 10 points. But I will favour Pascoe away from home to get their third win straight. And I'm going to say...
Wow, okay, Pascoe away to win.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it's 2-1.
Okay, big tip from Josip, okay. Here's Watson chopping in. Long way from the target, though. Back to Franjic. Got news of an equaliser for Kingston City. Come back to that in a moment. So we wait for South Melbourne to attack here. Schroen, long over the left side and running away. Josip, talk us through the goal around the grounds.
Yeah, it was a fantastic effort there. I can't see who's actually taken the shot, who scored the goal, but it was a fantastic strike 25 yards out from the right-hand side, and fantastic for Kingston to be able to get an equaliser.
Wow, so they're level at Olympic Village. Next game is 6 p.m. Altona Magic against the Bentley Greens. I'll be there with Bryce Rutherford. Looking forward to this one. Second trip to Paisley Park this year. Who do you like in that game, of course, remembering that Bentley have a couple of suspensions due to 2 red cards last week?
Yeah, so Marko Jankovic and Jacob Alexander both will be missing, as you said before, 2 of their back 4. So very important 2 players that are missing there for the Bentley Greens. And I feel like Altona Magic at home, especially after losing last week, after having 3 wins in a row, I'm going to tip Magic for that one, and I'm going to say 2-0.
I like Magic potentially as well. Bentley Greens, I think you said it well in a radio interview you did earlier tonight. They've had up and down form. They haven't won games back to back. They've been win-loss, win-draw, win-loss. 7 p.m, Hume City against Avondale. Chris Gleeson and Bilal Ali will be behind the microphone for that one. Who do you like, Hume at home to the 7 from 7 ladder leaders?
Yeah, I feel like you can't really tip against Avondale at the moment. They've been playing some great football, and even in moments when...
Advantage South here, long shot coming in, and Schroen got that one wrong. The little pocket of South fans behind the goal still applaud the initiative, but that one was nowhere near the target.
As I was saying, yeah, even with Avondale, when they maybe have seemed like they may, slip up, they've been able to collect themselves and pull out victories, and I can't really tip against them. I'm going to say 3-0 for that one. I don't see Hume challenging Avondale at all in that game.
And 7 p.m, Dandenong Thunder versus Port Melbourne. Dean Minear and Matt Sultana, one of a number of teams who can lay claim to being called the dream team at the moment, given what a good job they did last time they were on a game together. They will be doing the Thunder Port game. Any chance Port, after they found form against Hume City last week in amazing fashion?
Yeah, well, Port Melbourne, I mean, they're 10th, Dandenong Thunder's 9th. They both had fantastic games last week. And in all honesty, I'm looking forward to that game the most tomorrow.
Wow.
I feel like that's going to be a cracker.
Here's Attila Offley taking on Jeeba. Just trying to get goal side of him, and Offley rolling out of space, but gets a throw and takes it quickly. Watson holding it up, little back heel. Too much on it for Franjic to attack the ball. So who's going to win? Thunder versus Port.
I want to say Thunder's going to sneak it. I want to say Thunder is going to sneak a victory by 1 goal. But don't ask me for the official result, because I would have no idea. Could be a 1-0 or it could be another 4-3.
Yeah, they are a very hard team to tip the Thunder as Gogic clears into the grandstand here. And the 2 streaming games in NPL 2 this week. Tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m, Manningham United versus Melbourne City. That will be with the father-son combo of Joey and Michael Lynch. So if you've loved the writing of Michael Lynch and the media work of Lynchy over the years, well, now the father-son dream team are back in action commentating that one. So we see Svitkovic escape here. And will the ball break kindly for Albano? Norton has done well to defend him. Physical attention as well. And Knights are quick to move the chains after the attacking end of the pitch. And the other allocated game in NPL 2 is on Sunday. And Josip, you will be there for St Albans against Geelong Soccer Club. And Geelong, one game on from having removed their manager. They bounced back with a win last weekend as a result after the departure of George Karkaletsis. Can they keep that going at the expense of St Albans, or will St Albans' promotion/title challenge continue on at home?
Yeah, well, St Albans really need a win against Geelong. Geelong's 4th on the ladder. St Albans are now 2nd after...
Pretty amazing to think Geelong sacked their coach and they're 4th on the ladder.
Well, at the end of the day, 4th doesn't get you anywhere in NPL 2.
It doesn't get you relegated, though. That's also important to remember.
That's correct, especially for a team that's come up recently. So great to see them in the top half. But as I was saying, the top of the table clash last week between North Geelong Warriors and Werribee City.
Horrendous weather, and well done to Steve Curtin and Tonchi Kruzak for calling that game. Let's stay with this Knights free kick here. Duzel stands over it. A big pack waits. As it swings to the far post, Marshall first head, and it will go out for a Knights throw.
Yeah, it was 0-0 in that game, so there was a few chances, but nobody got a win there, with Werribee dropping their first points of the season. But now that's given St Albans the opportunity to squeeze up into 2nd, and so we got round 8. Round 9 will be another top of the table clash.
Salados, Chrysaridis is offside, and the offside flag hasn't appeared too often in this game, but it traps him here.
If St Albans and Werribee can get a win in round 8, that'll set up a top of the table clash in round 9 in Werribee. So I'm gonna tip St Albans for that one. Ooh. I feel like they're nice and hungry to beat Geelong and set themselves up with an opportunity to add a bit of pressure onto Werribee, who have started the season off in fantastic form.
Now that offside is Nick Chrysaridis' last involvement in the game. He's going to be subbed off here for Lee Menopoulos. Very much the definition of a Mr. Reliable for South Melbourne. He's been a super sub for them so often. He's always done the job when he started. And he comes on here for Esteban Quintas to try and unlock this game, which has not really got closer to a goal through 12 minutes of second half action. If anything, the game is just meandering at the moment. It's done the right thing by us to tip the rest of the weekend, Josip, because it hasn't reached any great heights. Still waiting for our first goal. It's 1-1 at Olympic Village, and it is 0-0 between Dandenong City and Oakley Cannons in a game where really neither can afford to draw, and they can afford to lose even less. As the ball goes out here from Chakarun's restart.
Yeah, sometimes you see those contests where neither team will fancy a draw, but neither team is allowed to lose. Sometimes you see those games become very cautious, and you see them, maybe with a late winner, 1-0 or something like that, or you see them go on a full-blown goal fest. But yet to break the deadlock there at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex.
Same situation here, and what do you make of the service and the way Knights have used Hamish Watson in this game? Because other than a chance that came out of largely a chaotic scramble, which was cleared off the line by Jake Marshall, he hasn't really, as we see him here, try to bullock his way through, been able to impose himself on this match the way he would have liked. Yeah, well, I mean, you just saw there, as the opportunity was coming to maybe get the ball to Watson, he's turned around and he started heading for a through ball, as we see here. Flag stays down. Menopoulos, first real involvement off the bench, is trying to feed it to Norton! South Melbourne score! And Brad Norton leaps into the arms of the fans here at Knights Stadium. And the home team can't believe they're behind, as it's the captain, Brad Norton, running onto the end of Lee Menopoulos' pass. What a sub that's proven to be. And South Melbourne lead. Yeah, well, as we were saying before, Aidan Bryce, he's coughed up the ball there. He's given the ball away in the centre of the pitch. It was picked up by the South Melbourne players, and it's made its way forward, and the ball's come to Bradley Norton, and the captain, leading by example, giving South Melbourne a lead away from home. This is crucial to the development of the rest of their season. And tellingly, Hamish Watson is subbed off for AJ Anea. So the sub goes through, not Hamish Watson's night. AJ Anea, the hero of the 4-3 win against Altona Magic earlier in the season, comes on. 2 changes now for Knights, bringing on Offley and Anea. Comments have exploded. And lots of happy South Melbourne fans watching in. Their pocket of fans behind the goal that Brad Norton went and celebrated with. They've found their voice. And Knights need a response here. Almost at the hour mark this game when Norton's shot hit the back of the net. 59th minute, the goal.
Yeah, the Knights' defence just broke down there. As I was saying, you know, Aiden Bryce gave away the ball, and it's ended up in the feet of Norton. Norton's played a ball nicely to Monopolis, as you were saying. Always when he comes on, does the job, gets himself an assist, and it was a nice played ball through there to Norton, who turned on the accelerator to get into that position, and the Knights' defence caught sleeping.
And what a difference a goal makes. If South Melbourne were to win tonight, they'd go to 10 points, leaving Port on 7. At present, Kingston are on 6 as they are drawing with Heidelberg, and then Oakley on 5, Dandenong City on 4. So South get the chance to really climb away from trouble, at least in the short term, if they can win this one here tonight. But there's still a long time to go. And Melbourne Knights did create some really good chances in that first half. They haven't quite found their groove here in the second, though. As Roganovic clears, he'll now be hoping for a clean sheet and 3 points. News of a goal in the A-League, Brisbane Roar level 1-1 against Melbourne City. Jiba against Anea. And AJ Anea floors his opponent. The assistant referee is flagging. It's a free kick going the way of South Melbourne. They're just starting to get the rub at the moment, the visiting team. And Las Pandelitis has taken exception to something that's been said. It's a yellow card for someone. I can't tell who. Didn't really.
That was Bradley Norton.
Can only assume it was Brad Norton there who's got the booking, but he didn't quite point him out as he brandished the card. We'll have another look at the replay. Can only assume it's Norton because he was the one that was speaking to the referee, but then the referee's not really looking at him when he shows the card.
Yeah.
Anyway, ball's in South's attacking end, and Schroen can't keep it in as it goes out for a goal kick.
It sort of looked like he was walking to Bradley Norton, but as he pulled out the card, he looked at Jake Marshall. So
your guess is as good as mine. I guess we'll find out if someone gets another yellow later and then gets sent off.
That's the way.
Jerkovic, Albano, Offley. Can Knights get the quick reply rather than allow South Melbourne to bed down on this 1-0 lead? Clearance by Marshall. Monopolis sold the contact for all it was worth. Beravescos, good play to win the ball back, and now Monopolis through the right side. He might have to do it all on his own here. Looking for options, and he goes for it. It rattles the right-hand post and goes out for a goal kick, and he nearly did it solo entirely.
Yeah, well, Melbourne Knights' goalkeeper, Harry Chakaron there, he looked like he was in the right position to not concede there, but as Monopolis' shot has struck the bar, I can still hear that one ringing. So
South, if they were to score a second, they would be in dreamland. And the Quintas era might just get off to the perfect start. That would be new manager bounce well and truly.
Yeah, that goal's completely wiped the noise here under us.
Yeah, there are no fewer fans standing down at ground level on the steps under the TV tower. They're just not nearly as vocal as they were in the first half. Waiting for their team to give them some reason to get rowdy again. Right now the game is swinging South's way. And that is another goal kick. Of course, for Knights, this would be 2 losses in a row if they were to go down here. Avondale 21, Bentley 16, Knights 15, and Heidelberg currently drawing on 14. So they could be leapfrogged by Heidelberg as soon as tonight if Heidelberg were to go on and win. And that would push them down to 4th. Of course, if they were to turn it around and come back to draw, then they would still be behind Bentley on goal difference. And if they were to win, they would leapfrog Bentley ahead of the Greens' trip away to Altona Magic tomorrow. So we see Bryce here. Bit of a rainmaker, and AJ Anea is not going to be able to chase it down.
Yeah, the attack seemed a bit forced there as the long ball came up towards AJ Anea, the youngster who came on for prolific Knights goal scorer, Hamish Watson, with that substitution coming on the hour mark. Just a minute after South Melbourne broke the deadlock through captain Bradley Norton.
Monopolis. This time he's denied by Gergic. Franjic. Anea keeps possession. Svitkovic. Oh, he's sat Stratomitros on his backside. AJ Anea is being pushed. Albano. Still Albano! Wide. Well, I'm not sure how there wasn't a foul there. It seemed like we kind of got 9/10 of the way to a foul a couple of times in that passage of play. Anea, and then Albano, and then wide.
It was great work there from Albano. I mean, as he seemed to be fouled there, he didn't want to fall and give the referee anything to blow the whistle as he looked to maybe collect his feet. But it was very hard there for Albano. But as we were saying before, giving the Knights fans something to cheer about. But now with Albano on the floor, I hope he's okay to continue. Yeah, interesting to see that there was no foul in that play.
Well, maybe a penalty shout, maybe not.
I thought maybe the referee would have given advantage for the first one, and then after the challenge came in secondary, I thought maybe he might pull it back. But his judgment's better than ours, as it's a South Melbourne goal kick.
Reganovic out to Norton, who is the scorer of the only goal. Solid header, won by Bryce. Sewell volleys it out. It's a 2-on-1, but the one is Jiba, who's able to volley it to the safety of the touchline. Sewell's throw. Franjic. Sweeping cross. Attila Offley with his distinct running style, able to chase the ball down. Turns and faces the penalty area. And goes to work on Brad Norton. And then the cross is a letdown. Sailing out.
Yeah, the ball's come out to Offley there. He's kept it from going out for a goal kick. And then he's squared up against, was it Norton there? And whether that was a cross, just did not find or even come close to maybe the intended target there from Attila Offley.
The comments are coming in about the penalty shout and the chance for Albano. John says should have fallen. A different John says should have equalised. And James says no reward for being honest. Wow, so it's divided opinion, both on whether or not it was a foul and also what Albano should have done. Anyway, that chance has got Knights back in an attacking mindset here as they pursue an equaliser. Header from Stratomitros, and now the long clearance from Bereveskos. Bouncing down to Chakarun.
Yeah, look, I mean, I feel like these days with the modernisation of football, I feel like it's you see players go down a lot easier in the box these days, especially with something like that, where Albano was trying to really catch his feet. But it keeps it interesting. I mean, had he gone down there and maybe played off a challenge, would a penalty have been given?
Through the middle, Albano. Marshall, not sure what his intentions were there. He just went for an amble with the ball and got caught. And now Salados is backtracking. It just won't roll out. Eventually, a Knights throw. Jurkovic pondering over what to do. And Franjic wins another throw. And as it caught a gust of wind, it got a bit big on Attila Roffley. He has to go and chase it back 20 metres. Jurkovic. Sul off the chest. And that would have been a corner had it gone behind. Some Knights fans thought it was. Play continues. AJ Neer trying to break central. And he rolls it to Jurkovic. Deflected. Will this go behind for a corner? It plugs in the turf. And that allows Jerry Salados to clear it for a throw only. Knights very much on the attack now, though. Got the ball camped down in their attacking third. Offley, and no cohesion there with Jurkovic allows South Melbourne to throw. Into the last 20 minutes we've gone. South Melbourne holding on to a 1-0 lead since Bradley Norton's goal in the 59th minute. South will wind every second they can off the clock while the game is to their liking. Monopolis meeting the sandwich. Aerial ping pong. Giselle and Franjic got in each other's way. Their destination was Offley. Back to Sul. Now Marshall just tries to put it on the roof of the grandstand. And he does. There's a spare ball there. Good work by the ball boys. And watch out in the car park as that one goes bouncing over the grandstand. And play continues. Aiden Bryce from downtown, and that one is threatening the quarry rather than the back of the net.
Yeah, here comes another ball, so I doubt Nikola Doganovic is going to be in any rush to bring the ball back into play. But you look at the Knights bench, Jordan Gifkins, Tom Potteridis and Adrian Tardio remaining. And with the Knights chasing a goal and the result, I feel like Adrian Tardio might be the nod there.
Well, they do have one player currently stretching his legs behind the bench. South Melbourne subs are warming up down in the corner, and I think the word has come here for one of them. It might even be Giordano Marafiotti. In the meantime, South with what's become a bit of a rarity since going ahead, and that is an attack. And it quickly comes to an end as Salados is nudged over the line.
Yeah, good observation there, Teo. It is Giordano Marafiotti who's coming on.
Scored a hat-trick in the 20s last week, and he's in the squad, while his brother Giuseppe, who scored a double against Melbourne Knights at Lakeside Stadium last time these teams met, is not in the squad tonight.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be Dean Beravescos coming off, the attacking midfielder. But we'll wait for that confirmation. Probably at the next break of play, the ball comes out. There it is.
So the board about to go up for South Melbourne. And here comes the sub. Beravescos off. And Giordano Marafiotti on. We apologise if the stream's having a few issues. The heavy, or the high winds here appear to be causing a few issues. So the sub goes through. Solid header by Bryce.
We've got word of half-time down at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex with Dandenong City and Oakley Cannons still scoreless over there.
And the ball goes out. For those of you, or those of you with us on YouTube, YouTube is still going just fine. If you're having Facebook issues, get over to the YouTube channel because the YouTube stream is working fine. And of course, it's the same feed to both. So Stay with us here. NPL Victoria. Up goes Jerkovic, winning the header. Svitkovic, physical stuff. Knocked over by Stratomitros, but play continues. Corey Sewell. Touched by Albano. He's able to keep it in and get beyond Jiba. And the shot on sight from Offley. Straight into the chest of Reganovic, who holds on.
I still think it was
back pass here, and it caught. Got to get you off balance, and Marafiotti was often chasing, not able to affect play. Cleared by Chakarun, and now Offley bowls over Jiba, and the ricochet goes back to Drizel, and then he's caught in possession by Schroen, but it's a foul and a Knights ball.
I'm still very intrigued what caused that substitution to bring AJ Inia on for Hamish Watson. I mean, Hamish Watson, who's managed to score 5 this season in 7 games, he's the type of player that can come up with a goal from nothing. So very interesting to see how this pans out for the Knights with about 15 minutes to go. But with their prolific goal scorer not on the park.
Third and final sub for South appears to be in the offing. And they're certainly milking the clock and taking as much time as they can as the board goes up. And it's going to be Ben Jiba coming off as he's receiving treatment here. And Perry Lambropoulos coming on. And that's perhaps a moment where he can answer some of the critics from the South fans that have got on his back in recent times, having joined the club in the off-season. Lambropoulos comes on, and Jiba, who has been excellent, was probably in contention to be man of the match, now leaves with the job far from done. South Melbourne leading by just the solitary goal. Free kick from Drizel. Reganovic sets himself and collects in the air, doing well.
And just on what we were talking about before, Teo, I've got official confirmation. 2,437 is the official crowd for tonight's original Melbourne derby. Repeating that, 2,437.
Fantastic crowd, and credit to Melbourne Knights for all the advertising they did during the week as well. Particularly the rock concert posters that were appearing all over the city. Ball rolling down to Chakarun. AJ Anea. Schroen. Marafiotti. Franic won the ball off him. Drizel. To Corey Sewell. For a Knights throw. Albano. And the ball goes out.
Do we have half-time at Olympic Village? Heidelberg United 1, Kingston City 1. And the viewers from those two games can join us for the last 10 or so minutes of this contest.
And here is Marafiotti, a great touch. It's lured Chakarun out and he leads feet first. Driving the ball away, so dangerous Marafiotti. And Chakarun had to be good there.
That was fantastic reading of the game by Harry Chakarun, as he nearly got that ball over the grandstand. That would have been a second one for the night.
Instead, it's a South Melbourne throw. Time the enemy for the Knights. Even though it's only the one goal, it already feels like we're starting to enter desperation stages, Josip. Even though it's only the 79th minute, it already feels like the game is starting to just slip a little bit from them.
Yeah, well, the Knights would have wanted 3 points here tonight, and those 3 points are 2 goals away. So you got to see the way Mika Challen has been working with his subs.
Here's the shot from the edge of the box, and it needs a good save. Schroen turning onto his left, and Chakarun is down to hold on to the shot, stopping it going in the corner.
Yeah, the shot sort of cut back into the post, the front post that Schroen had just sort of ran past. So the angle there was a bit tough for Shrowan to get the shot on, and great work there by Chakarun, showing good balance, good feet, to be able to get low and make sure that the deficit is only at 1 at the moment.
South continue to press. Marafiotti again. He's made an impact since coming on, and he's able to squirm through here, but couldn't get it through Three Knights defenders. Corey Sewell is able to shimmy away from Monopolis. Albano, errant touch. South win the ball back. Now sweeping crossfield ball from Stratomitros. And off the back of Jurkovic's head. Chasing the ball down. Nikola Jurkovic turns it to Bryce. Franjic. Flickheader on. Svitkovic. And the sub Lambropoulos is able to knock it off his toes. About whether Perry Lambropoulos was number 2 or number 3, Josip. It turns out he is wearing number 2 after all. As a drifting diagonal ball here into the box is headed away by Norton. AJ Anir was threatening. Salados clears. Only as far as Bryce. Bounces beyond Drizel. Gage. Offley. Jurkovic. And he holds off Gage, but Salados is there. Marafiotti holds the ball up and now waits for the runner to advance. Monopolis. Is this the second for South? Monopolis went for glory and blazed it high over the bar.
Yeah, Monopolis. He's got 1 assist already. Had he cut that one to Jerry Salados at the back post, that could have been 2 assists for him on the night, and it could have been a double for South. They could have put this game to bed, Teo.
Knights straight back down their attacking end. Still trying to find an equalising goal. Been behind since the 59th minute. Gurgic blocked. Stratomitros couldn't turn it central. Marafiotti may well have been away. Long ball from Bryce. Corey Sewell nods it central. Attila Offley. Svitkovic! And it goes well wide in the end. Out for a goal kick.
Svitkovic managed to get that shot, but I wasn't sure if there was any contact there or anything. The way he leapt forward after the shot suggests that maybe there was a bit of contact there. Maybe putting the Knights skipper off his best shot. Here comes the final substitution.
You called it, Josip. It's going to be Ivan Gurgic, a defender, off, and Adrian Tardio coming on.
Adrian Tardio, who has played for the Knights seniors before, but I think this is his first appearance this season, who's been spending a lot of time in the under-20s, been scoring goals. It'll be interesting to see if he could come up here and maybe pull this one back for the Knights.
Has scored a spectacular overhead goal in the under-20s this year. It was right here against Green Gully. Low ball, Albano, and Drizel stripped of possession by Stratomitros, but then South just booted away and give it back. Clock continues to tick against the Melbourne Knights, 83.5 minutes. Franjic, Offley to Sewell, and that early ball has no direction. Goalkeeper won't mind that. Draganovic boots it away. Marafiotti throwing himself about. It's going to be a throw. Both benches waving and gesticulating quite a lot here.
Yeah, the Knights have taken off Hamish Watson, their prolific striker. But it seems like they're still trying to play that same style of football as they would if Watson was on the park. They've got a lot of pace out wide, as I think that was Marafiotti tried to get the better of the Knights there.
Aiden Bryce. Franjic.
Here comes the long ball again.
And Offley's going to make a run at it. Shoulder to shoulder, wins it from Lambropoulos. Backtracking. Stratomitros is lifted in these last couple of minutes, Josip, as this game has continued to drift along.
Yeah, I feel like the Knights would have a better opportunity to maybe get something out of this contest if they were to keep the ball on the deck and use their skill to play the ball around. They've been playing a few long balls and it hasn't been working for them as of yet. Franjic plays it into Offley.
Offley. And this one just bounces down to the keeper.
Once again, that dinked ball over the top, especially with the wind heading in that direction. Probably not the best decision, as Knights have 6, I believe, players up forward at the moment.
Sewell. And that ball tails out for a throw.
The wind has picked up. It's blowing all over the place at the moment.
86th minute. Bryce. Monopolis.
Last season, both of these teams were able to win their home derby.
Correct, yes.
But a bit of a turn of events, maybe, tonight.
South having farewelled their coach Contangalakis during the week. Esteban Quintas, the interim. Until the end of the season, the club said, well, what a start this would be if they can hold on. AJ Anea. South playing with real commitment to the cause. And Marafiotti here against Bryce. Can he show his quick feet here? Giordano Marafiotti always left the ball behind. And so he holds up and he loads up and goes again and then collapses theatrically over the legs of Bryce. He then tries to drive it away, but it's been intercepted. Lambropoulos got the stop, and now Monopolis. And the back pass from Sewell finds its way down to Chakarun. So we drag closer to the finish. 87 minutes gone. South can see the finish line now. Knights just need to create a chance. They're not even creating at the moment. Sewell. Svitkovic. Dancing on the ball. And now the cross in. Jurkovic got the header, but nowhere near the target. He did well just to get to the ball at all.
Yeah, it was probably one of the best chances they've had in the last 10 minutes. They haven't been, some would say, maybe it even looks like South Melbourne are the team chasing the lead. Because the Knights have not been able to break through this South Melbourne defence as effectively as they would like to. Another little fact I'd like to point out. South Melbourne have got 6 goals this season. 5 different goal scorers. Chris Aratis got 1, Adams got 1, Giuseppe Marafiotti got 1.
Yep.
Jerry Silados has got 2, and Captain Bradley Norton has gotten his first for the season. So they've shown that they can hit the back of the net. They've got options, but it's just about getting consistent performances, I guess. Could this be the turn of their season?
All they care about now is a clean sheet. They don't need any more goals as far as they're concerned, as long as they hold on for the remaining 90 seconds of regulation plus stoppage here. Svitkovic's corner, an in-swinger, and headed away. Adams, powerful. And Marafiotti, who's been so good at providing an outlet, again, leads the Knights' backtracking players. With a little step over, he keeps the ball and then collapses to the turf, and he's holding his leg. Of course, he's coming back from a season-ending ACL injury that ruled him out for all of last year, and they're going to call the trainer. And you just hope it's, to be honest, you actually hope it's gamesmanship and time wasting, because for a player who's coming back from a serious injury, you don't want him to be hurt again here. And the way he's writhing around, you'd suggest maybe it's not time wasting here.
Yeah, never like to see players go down, especially suffering long-term injuries such as an ACL or any ligament damage or anything broken, I believe.
They're looking at his right lower leg here, and again, I actually hope it's time wasting. I don't want him to be seriously hurt. It's going to take us up to the end of the 90 minutes. Fourth official can tag all of this onto stoppage time and adjust the board. Looks as though it's only 3 minutes on the board at the moment, so that'll suit South.
Be interesting to see if they Mickey Challoner's actually having a word with the fourth official there.
I think
maybe he wants him to change it to 4.
Yeah, this stoppage alone has been a decent 45, 50 seconds. So South will take that and run. They are nearly there to what, as you suggest, could be a season-shaping win.
Well, that leaves Melbourne Knights with maybe one opportunity to go to maybe equalise here at the death.
Marafiotti is smiling to the Knights fans on the hill, so he might be all right. He's trying to come back on. South are temporarily down a player. Monopolis in here. It's a real scrap for the ball. Salados. And he's working sideways. Out to Lambropoulos. And back to Salados. And now Jerry from the right. Cuts it back. Oh, it's behind Schroen. Monopolis has space. Marafiotti. Can he cap South's night off? Oh, he nearly did. Just wide of that bottom left corner.
Yeah, he's looked to pull the ball back, and he's brought it back forward, tricking the Melbourne Knights defence there, and he's given himself enough room to take a shot. And had he got maybe a bit more power and a bit more accuracy, could have been a good night, Melbourne Knights.
Instead, the game continues. Drizel's got a throw. We're halfway through the allocated 3 minutes. There might be a bit more due to the Marafiotti injury. Bryce. Another long ball incoming. Curls it over to the left. It's knocked away from Albano. South defence reorganised. Luke Adams giving instructions from the centre. And that pass is not a good one. Booted away. Bryce hurried. Drizel clips it on. Clever. And now has the opportunity to measure a ball. Franic. Jurkovic is breaking for him. All about the delivery. Jurkovic's cross is too close to the keeper. And Roganovic drags it in. We're into the last minute of the allocated 3.
Yeah, the Knights don't look very energetic chasing this equaliser they so desperately need. So if it's a cause of maybe a bit of fatigue. I mean, it's been a great start to the season from the Melbourne Knights, but they may be looking at this game as one of the ones that slipped away when it comes to the back end of the season.
You think of Jake Marshall clearing Hamish Watson's shot off the line, and Nikola Roganovic's amazing save from Jurkovic's looping header right at the end of the first half. Big moments in this contest. Norton with the only goal, and he gets the clearance here. Stoppage time has expired. All eyes on the referee. Takes a glance at the watch, and now it is entirely at the central referee's discretion. Can Knights create one last chance? Sewell against the touchline. Out it goes. The Knights bench are hurrying. It's going to be a free kick, it seems. So a chance to just pile it long, get it in the mixer, and hope for the best. Adams is up. A real pillar of strength. Jurkovic. And now Franic. Last chance saloon for Melbourne Knights, and it's blocked away. And that kick to clear might just do it. Lemonopoulos is begging for the full-time whistle. Referee looks at his watch. It hasn't arrived yet.
The whistle is not in the mouth yet.
Here goes Bryce. They need a miracle now, Melbourne Knights. Sewell's got to just get it in the box. And it's headed away again. Norton. Here's Offley. And it's blocked away. That might just do it as it's cleared. Marafiotti will hold the ball up, and Bryce. Don't tell me Knights can do it now. Flag is up for offside, and that surely will be salvation for South.
Interesting offside call there, as the ball was Adrian Tardio was looking for the ball there. I feel like he wasn't offside. There was a couple players offside. Giselle and Sutkovic, they were making their runs back out of the box as they got caught offside. But interesting call there. And
it's over. Could this be a season shaper for South Melbourne? What a new manager bounce this is for Esteban Quintas, as South Melbourne come to Knights Stadium and win the original Melbourne derby 1-0 off the back of Brad Norton's goal. Knights lose 2 in a row, and South Melbourne win away at their arch rivals. It's a massive 3 points that lifts them out of the relegation mix for now. And Melbourne Knights continue to just lose touch a little bit with the leaders of the pack at the top of the NPL. A night to forget for the home team. And South Melbourne's defence holds firm. 1 goal was enough. Josip Herzog, take us home with your final thoughts on Melbourne Knights 0, South Melbourne 1.
Yeah, props to the visitors. I mean, they've come here. They've shown us a fantastic defensive display. And then after doing a lot of defending, they managed to tactically get the better of the Knights. They got a goal in. Great work there by Bradley Norton, the South Melbourne skipper. And like you said, 2 losses in a row for the Knights after a fantastic start to the season. South Melbourne get themselves into double digits on 10 points now. And like you said, minimum result, but it's 1-0 for the visitors here in the first instalment for the 2019 original Melbourne derby. Thank you very much for having me, Teo Palazzeri. My name's Josip Herzog, and it is Melbourne Knights 0, South Melbourne 1.
Yes, thanks for your company. Don't forget you can enjoy the other 2 8:30 kickoffs that are still going, and the rest of NPL Victoria on the NPL YouTube channel and Facebook page through the rest of the weekend. That's it from Knights Stadium, though. Good night.